Today we're going to be making Pupperfly with orb molecules. We've got our large pink, medium yellow, small green, black, and white. So let's get started. Okay, so we've got all of our colors out of the box, and now we're going to start with the head. So I'm going to put everything aside that I don't need, and I'm going to grab a bit of pink, like this. Let's see, a bit more. About like that. I'll put everything else to the side. So we're going to make a ball shape, kind of like a big head. And we're going to just kind of squish into a ball. And then we're going to make some eye holes. So we're going to push our thumb in to make some eye sockets. And I'm going to pinch the nose a little bit. And there we've got the start of our head shape. So now we're going to we've got some ears for our Pupperfly. So we're going to use some yellow for that. So I'm just going to set my head there for now. I'm going to grab some yellow and let's see, we'll make some ears. So if we break this apart, those look like a good size. So I'm just going to make kind of a triangle shape like this. So you can use it flat on the bottom. You can push it down on your table and make kind of a triangle shape like that. And we're going to do that again. And you can give your Pupperfly any kind of ears that you'd like. You can make them long and droopy. You can make them stick up, but that looks pretty good. And then we're going to make a little bit of black to show the inside of the ear. So we're grabbing a little bit of black and just making kind of a flat triangle shape out of the black. We're going to do that again. So you're just squishing it in between your fingers, making a triangle shape, and squishing, and there we go. So I think we're just going to add that to the middle of our ear, like that. Do that on the other side. Great, and we can add it to our head. Ooh, big ears. Look at that. So we can pull it up a little bit here too. Send it back a little bit. And you can add more or less depending on what you want your ear shapes to look like. Okay, I'm going to put that aside. We're going to make the nose next. So we're going to use our white. So I'm going to break a little piece off to use for later. So we're basically going to just squish down into a circle, kind of the shape of the mouth here. So use a little less. We can just pinch into kind of a bean shape, like that. Maybe flatten it out a little bit more. You want a bit of dimension. So you can kind of pinch with your fingers. We want to make a bottom lip, kind of like that, so we can take a little bit away and just just going to make a little half moon like that. We can add it to the bottom of this. And then we're just going to roll out a little bit like that and add to the top like so. So this is the little detail in between his eyes. And then we want to make the nose and the definition for the mouth next. So we'll use our black for that. And we'll just grab a little bit of black. We're going to squish it into a triangle shape. And we're just going to put that right on top, right on the top of the arc here. So you can squish that down. Like that. And then we'll roll out a couple of little black snakes, or you can line the inside of the mouth. Oop. However you feel comfortable doing it. Oops. So I like to squish it sometimes, squish it out like that. So we're just gonna give him a little smile, just like that. So highlight this part, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. Oop. You can roll it between your fingers, or you can add them on one at a time, however you want to do it. There we go. And then we can put a little bit of black on the inside of the mouth. So you can just flatten out a little piece of black and kind of make a little taco like that and stick it inside the mouth like that. You can push it in a little bit. And then we're going to make the tongue. So that's a couple of the medium, the smaller of the pink beads. And we can just kind of put them together like that. That's a little tongue, and you can make a big tongue or a small tongue. And you just stick it right in his mouth there like that. Check it out. Now we can add that to the face. So if you put that on, you can kind of line it up in the middle and just gently squish it down onto the pink so it becomes part of his face like that. Cool. Okay. Next, let's do the antenna. That's a pretty quick one. So we'll just put his head there. Grab a bit of green. So it's just rolling out two little pieces of green for the antenna. And you can make them as tall or as thick as you want. That's a bit big, so we'll maybe break that in half and roll that out a little bit. And if you want to break it off like that, squish it down on the table. You can make a little kind of cone like that. You can also flatten it out a little bit. Depends on how tall you want your antenna to go. Then you can grab either a medium-sized pink, or you can grab a larger pink, depending on what style you like. I like the bigger one, so I'm going to keep that. And then I'm going to do that again. Ooh, it's a little small. Okay, there we go. I'm going to add the antenna on the top of the head. And you can bend it if you want, give it a little more action, or you can have them sticking straight up, however you'd like. So now we need to finish the eyes to give ourselves a full face. So let's grab some white and we'll roll it into a circle and flatten it out and make something that will fit in our eye socket that we made earlier. So you can squish it in between your fingers and kind of use your index and thumb to squish it down to make a nice circle. Then we're going to use some green for the inside. So you want to make a little circle that is just comes on the inside of the white. So you can squish it in between your fingers, kind of into the general shape of a circle. And you can add that on top. And you can fill in a little bit if you want to make that a little bit wider. Okay, and then we're going to make the pupil. So we're going to make just a little black circle that's just inset off the green. Make it a little bit bigger than that. You can peel it off, put it back together, just like that. And then you want to add your highlight to the black. There we go. And we're going to do that one more time for the other eye. Okay, so now we've got both of our eyes, and we're going to do some little eyebrows. So we're going to grab a little bit of black and roll it out a little bit in between your hands. We're just going to lay that right on top of the eyeball, just like that. Maybe move the highlight over. Whoop. Do that one more time. Roll it out. So we've got our little eyeballs. So we're just going to pop them into the head. Whoop. 1 and 2. Cute. It's looking good. If you wanted to add back a couple of pieces of pink, just to kind of beef it out a little bit, you can do that. There we go. There's our pupperfly head. So now we're going to do the body. So I am going to use my yellow. I'm going to take a bit off for decoration for later. I'm going to make a kind of a bean shape. So kind of squish it into 2 parts. You want to make the chest and then the lower body. So just kind of squeeze it into a shape like that. He's got his legs coming out here. So we'll use, it's kind of a bean shape, kind of flat on the bottom and the side. We're going to add some pink on the back here. So we'll take some off and squish it out. So we're going to add it to the back here, kind of like making him a jacket. Just want to make sure that you have enough to cover, and then you can take off any excess to use for the legs and the tail later. So we'll just add that onto the back here. And there we go. We'll make a nice flat space for where the head wants to go after. You you can add back a little bit on the side. So you've got kind of, well, it's kind of a column with a little back jacket like that. Boop. And any holes you can kind of move the molecules around to cover up any of that. Okay, so now we're going to make our legs. And so we want to break this up so that we've got 4 legs and 1 tail. So we want to grab probably about that much for the tail. And then we want 2 kind of longer legs in the front and 2 smaller legs in the back. So we can use a little bit more for our front legs. And you can make them really however big you want your legs to be. I think that'll be good for the back legs. This could be good for the front legs. So I'm just going to roll it out in between my hands and kind of squish it together so it compacts and it's nice and stable. So you can give them little legs like that. You can bend it at the bottom to give them a little foot. So you can use your table to help you figure out how tall the leg needs to be. Do that again. So you can kind of put it right where at the top, so kind of like where his shoulder would go. You can kind of squish it into the body, kind of this way into the base. So you can do the same on this side, kind of squish it together. So you've got 2 front feet. And then we're going to do the back feet. So sometimes dogs have a little bit more when they sit on their hind legs. They have a little bit more like that. Like there's their knee and there's their foot. So you can make kind of a circular shape with a little bit, kind of pinch a little bit out for his foot. And his back feet have a little bit of green on top for extra detail. So we're going to grab some green and kind of make a little paw. So you're going to make him a little sock. You can kind of squish that down over top of the bottom of the foot, just like that. And then you can add a couple bits, kind of make it look like his fur, kind of coming up like that. So you can add some like that. And you can make it go up all the way over his leg if you want. We're going to do that one more time. Okay, so we're going to add those on to our back of our body here. So I'm just pushing it kind of into the side like that. And I'm going to do the other side like this, kind of right behind the front leg. So he's sitting on his bum like that. So we want to have a couple of little pieces of black so we can define his toenails a little bit. So we're going to use a little bit of black and kind of just pinch it into a long piece, or you can roll it with using your thumb. So we want to have 3 of these per foot, so we need 12 altogether. So something about that size. So I'm going to do that 12 more times. Okay. All right, so now we've got all of our little toe dividers. So I'm just going to stick them on. 3 per foot. Boop. Okay, and we've got a little bit of detail around his arms that uses a bit of green. So just roll out a little bit of green in between your hands. We can use that as a little detail. It's very nice. Can add that on. Cool. Okay, so now we're gonna take away a little bit for detail for our wings. So we're gonna use the rest for our tail. So we're gonna roll out the tail like that, and we're going to use a little bit of yellow at the end, so you could make the tail a little bit fatter at the bottom, and then just kind of squish it back on, a bit of yellow at the end, and you can make this as long or as short as you'd like. And you can make it a little pointy. You can make it curl. I'm going to put a little extra here, just kind of coming down on the pink. And that looks pretty cool. So then you add that to the back of your Pupperfly. Just kind of stick that in between. And you can curl it around a little bit. Like that. Okay, we're almost there. So we've got our head done, we've got our body done, now we have to do our wings. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the remainder of our green. We're going to split that in two so we have an equal amount for each wing. So I'm just going to separate it in two like that. And I'm going to squish it down. And squish it on the table, kind of make an oval shape like that. Squish it down, really compact it so it sticks together really well. So you can make it as big or as small as you like. So we're going to pinch it in the middle so you can kind of give it any definition that you'd like. So I kind of like how it goes in and out. You could make it spiky, you could make it any shape that you'd like. But this is what our Pupperfly wings look like on the box. So there we go. So that's one. I'm going to do the other. There we go. So we've got our two wings. And now we're going to do a bit of detail. So you can go as detailed or not detailed as you like. So I'm going to make some black snakes. So I'm just going to roll some black out between my hands. So I want to make it go all the way around the inside of the wing. So you can roll it in between your hands, or you can do it on the table. Whatever you find is easier. So I'm going to edge the wing in some black. And you can add on as much or as little as you'd like. Do the same. Just edge it around. Okay, and then you get to do some more details, like adding a little bit more definition. So if you want to roll out some more thin black ones, you can get nice and detailed. You can add them one by one, depending on how you want to decorate your wing. So I'm going to use this piece and separate the upper part like that. So kind of separate it into a third. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Like that. And then we can do some more little details. So you can roll out a bunch of these. We'll separate it here. Do the same on the other side. Oop. So now we've got something like that. Now you can add some pink. So you can use all of your big beads or your small beads, depending on how many you have left over. I'm going to use my big ones. Like that. And you can create really nice patterns with the big and the small sizes. So there's my red part, pink part. And I'm going to add some yellow just on the bottom here. And I'm going to do that on the other side. Oop. Okay. And then I'm going to add a couple of yellow ones in and around the green, just for extra decoration. Pull them apart one by one. Gotta say, it's looking pretty good. Okay. So now there's a couple more little details. We can add some of the smaller of the pink just under the black, like that. And you can have them kind of closer together or farther apart, depending on how detailed you want to have it. Just going to do it like that. Kind of line them up, a bit of space in between. Cool. So there's a little bit of black detail that we can do. We can roll out some more black sneakies and add them on to give a bit more dimension and shape. And again, you can go as detailed or as simple as you'd like. It all depends on your Pupperfly's character. Okay, last two bits. Do a little bit more. Here. Whoop, whoop. Oh, there we go. Just gonna separate the black or the yellow and the pink with a little bit of black for some definition. And we get to assemble. All right, look at that. Got two really pretty wings. Okay, so now all we have to do is put our head on our body like that. So you gently kind of squish it down. Whoop, like that. You can add a wing kind of right behind his ear. Like that, and you can just push on the back of the wing like that. take that and do the other just behind his arm there. And there we go. We've got our completed pupperfly.